Fascinating, because it preaches self-love. It preaches that you are God, that you are the greatest thing on earth, and you can't do wrong.
I am here to be straight with you. I am here to tell you as it is upon your plane.
If you are attempting to prove that this is all fraudulent, and that's the opinion you've gained, I allow you that.
Give me a reset on your audio. Resetting audio. Audio is good, and take it.
It's called the New Age, a combination of spiritualism and superstition that has taken America by storm. Its followers believe in everything from faith healers to space travelers to the power of crystals. But the most controversial New Age phenomenon is channeling. Channels are men and women who claim they enter a trance and a spirit temporarily takes over their body, using them as a channel to speak to the world. They're sort of New Age mediums. For a fee, the channel will call forth its spirit or entity. The entity offers everything from spiritual guidance to advice about changing a job or finding a spouse. When we first broadcast this story last summer, channeling was already a multi-million-dollar business, with over 1,000 channels in Los Angeles alone. Since then, it's become mainstream. Even national magazines have devoted their covers to the movement. For those of you still in the dark, listen closely. You're about to hear the voice of a dead man. Penny Torres claims she is leaving her body to make room for the spirit Mafu.
Beloved masters, indeed.
This is the voice of Mafu, a leper from 1st century Pompeii.
I am what is called the awakening of a dream. I am the realization of what you be.
God bless you, Dr. Peebles.
Dr. Peebles is a 19th century philosopher.
All right, I'll say, how are you this day of your time as you create time to exist?
Bashar is an alien from outer space. All kinds of spirits speak through channels, but their message is basically the same. You are God, you can create your own reality. It's a message thousands want to hear.
I am here to cause you, to challenge you, to create that you participate in being God. Then I will leave you alone.
It's just such a simple message. It's just to allow, not to be judgmental, to know that you're the light and the love, and to love yourself. You just kiss your palm to love yourself.
You are a wondrous woman. I want you to know what you are. I want you to know that you are loved. Do not cease loving them. Begin loving you.
Most people have a need for even such a simple message of some sort of spirituality about themselves. Most people feel that life is more meaningful when they have a scaffolding with which to view existence, and this gives them one.
Marcello Truzzi is a sociologist and researcher of paranormal phenomena. Those who follow channels, he says, are ordinary people searching for a new place in which to put their faith.
Most of these people, I think, have traditional religious roots and have continued to be religious but unchurched, and they're just finding themselves a kind of new church. Most people are seeking meaning in their lives, and this is one way to seem to get it.
Most channels say their spirit guides are invisible even to them, but Penny Torres says she actually sees hers.
Is he standing here now?
He sure is.
Where is he?
He's right there.
This is like too embarrassing. No one else in here can see him.
Hi. Torres said it all began 2 years ago. She was a contented housewife and mother with no interest in spiritualism. The spirit came to her.
All of a sudden, the bed I was on levitated. It went up about 6-7 inches, not the box spring, just the top mattress. This entity, this dead man, appeared to my right. I started thinking fantasies of Rosemary's Baby, you know, the whole thing. And then he said, and then his final thing was, and so I've come upon your planet to have the opportunity to speak to your people. I don't want to be worshipped by them or feared by them. So I desire not to come in my own body. I desire to utilize the body called you. And he looked at me and I said, me?
Torres's calling has turned into a growing business. She now runs Mafu seminars, which puts her on the road and out of her body constantly. She speaks to packed auditoriums at up to $100 a head. A weekend retreat with Mafu costs $500. And Torres has a mailing list with 30,000 names.
So be it.
You want to find meaning in this stuff. So you're groping for meaning because you want to justify your being there, having paid all this money and to some degree realizing that other people think you're a kook because you're there. I mean, people are not unaware that other people think they're strange. And so therefore you've got to justify that too.
Because you are caught up in what is called a regime, it is termed an ideology, it is called the practicing, it is termed the desire.
If a person rambles on almost incoherently sometimes for a couple of hours, a lot of people will find a message by constructing one.
But many channels claim to have unlimited knowledge, and often their message is very specific. When we met Torres, she told us that Mafu had prevented an earthquake in California.
And they have no idea how this pressure got released. Well, of course I do. You know, Mafu and all of our love for ourselves interfered so that this earthquake wouldn't happen.
She said the Undersecretary to the United Nations had personally met with Mafu and that they'd be meeting again.
Talking about what? Bringing peace to the planet. Mafu says in 3 years there's going to be an agreement signed between nations.
But her most incredible revelation had to do with AIDS. She described a man whose disease had gone into remission after seeing Mafu. Now more AIDS patients are coming.
He works with these people on self-love, which he says raises the vibratory frequency, which causes the hormones to work as they're supposed to work, which then relinquishes a terminal illness from the body.
While Mafu went off spreading his knowledge, we did some checking. A seismologist who monitors the San Andreas Fault told us nothing had changed. The Undersecretary to the UN turned out to be a former assistant to the Secretary General, who vaguely remembered meeting Penny at a party, but he said he has no plans to see her again. As for the cured AIDS patient, he told us he'd never had the disease. We went back to Torres.
It's not my truth that it's not true. The fact that you were told something by someone...
That's the person that you named, Penny.
All I can tell you is that the information that was given to me is quite different from the information that you're now giving to me. I allow both of those things. I allow both of those fantasies.
But they're not fantasies. These are
well, I consider everything a fantasy because I've gained a lot of wisdom.
If proof is unimportant to the channel, it also seems to be irrelevant to the faithful. At this Santa Barbara seminar, Mafu singled out a member of the audience.
Builder of a pyramid, you are going away. Have you not been given an opportunity to build a great pyramid?
Yes.
Out of this country.
Oh,
that one.
I didn't know you knew about that one. Yes.
I am just unlimited or something.
Mafu's believers were bowled over. They didn't realize Torres knew this man and had heard about his project a few hours earlier when she arrived at the seminar.
David Schweitzer is going to build a pyramid in Jamaica? Yeah. Come back to Jamaica.
We showed Torres the tape.
I know a lot of information that he speaks. I also don't know a lot of information that he speaks. It doesn't matter to me, because I'm not here to prove anything to you. If you are attempting to prove that this is all fraudulent, and that's the opinion you've gained, I allow you that.
But a lot of people in the audience, after that was over, used that as an example to me about how all-knowing Mafu is.
If that's what they need for their fantasy to follow an entity, then he's going to provide this circumstance so that you can put it on air, to have that carpet ripped out from beneath them so they don't follow him. And I absolutely allow that.
I could see somebody looking at this and saying, well, every time there's a discrepancy or an inaccuracy or something that is questioned, Penny's reaction is, well, that's not my truth, or I don't care, it doesn't matter. Mafu is probably making this happen so that people won't believe him because Mafu doesn't want followers.
Correct.
It's a convenient out.
Is it? It's my truth.
Mafu's truth, some believers say, brings discredit to the movement. But like the faithful in any religion, they suspend disbelief in favor of the basic message.
When I first saw Sean Channel, every skeptic voice I had in me came up because I was wondering, is this her? Is this not her? Who is this? But after 6 months, the information had helped me so much, just basic psychological information, that it doesn't matter where it comes from.
Many are now discarding the messenger altogether, choosing instead to channel their own spirits through classes like this one.
I don't feel that it's a panacea to the world's ills, but I think it's a wonderful step towards taking back some of the power that we give away as individuals to all of the priests of society. I don't mean that necessarily in the clerical sense, but to doctors, to lawyers, to parents, friends, peers, relatives.
Sociologist Marcello Truzzi calls it the ultimate democratization of religion. As more people look inward for guidance, he says, outward reliance on channelers will fade away. Still, the business of channeling generates millions of dollars from lectures, seminars, even the sale of audio cassettes. As it continues to grow, so does the bickering among some of the channels. Several refuse to be part of this story, claim Penny Torres is a fake, but they're not.
Just like with evangelists, there's a limited pie out there, a limited market, and there's only so much room to dominate. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing people starting to derogate each other. I'm sure dirty linen will come out about channelers, not from critics, but from fellow channelers.
I am here to be straight with you. I am here to tell you as it is upon your plane. These